Welcome back everyone to another Weather at a Glance video. In today's video, we will be covering a potential outbreak tomorrow for Thursday in the southeast, which will be affecting areas of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, and even parts up into Ohio. So this is something that you're really going to want to keep a lookout for if you live in any of these areas. And there's a lot to cover in this video, a very big forecast today to make sure that you are weather aware for tomorrow. This will all just be coming up in just a bit. Alright, and as we take a look at our first slide, you can see that we are taking a look at our reflectivity from the high resolution rapid refresh for the very moment that I'm recording this video. And this is down in Louisiana, and you can see as of right now, we have some scattered showers with our reflectivity, and this is showing maybe about 45 to 50 decibels, nothing severe, and nothing that seems to have any rotation. We are just watching this at the moment to see if anything is being produced, but nothing to be concerned about, just some thunderstorm showers that will be moving eastward throughout the upcoming hours. So if you are living in any of these areas, you will not have to worry about any severe probability for right now. These are just thunderstorm showers, nothing to worry about, just maybe some flash flood possibility with the upcoming storms ahead. Alright, and this is by tomorrow with our reflectivity forecast model from the high resolution rapid refresh, and you can see that we do have some of those showers starting to pop up tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, and none of these seem to be showing any rotation at the moment, but you can see that out here in portions of Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, you can see that you do have some potential for some tornadoes out there as well. Now, this is really early in the morning. There is really no convective available potential energy in the morning hours due to the lack of daytime heating. And this could cause some rotation problems with tornadoes as that frontal system comes through. So you might want to be careful throughout the early morning hours. Keep a NOAA weather radio handy as these storms come through with that cold front progressing through the southeast as well as the Ohio Valley. Alright, and this is early morning again tomorrow. We are taking a look at every close hour to make sure that you guys understand when this is happening. And this is 08Z, which is around 5 or so in the morning for Central Daylight Time. And you can see that we do have these showers starting to pick up to severe levels, and you could definitely see some heavy rain, possible flash flooding, and maybe a few embedded supercells. But this is still pretty early for that to happen, as the frontal system is still westward in about the central parts of the United States. So there's nothing to look out for at this point in time. It is mostly the mid to late hours of tomorrow that you will want to look out for. Alright, and this is midday tomorrow, and you can see that we have these cells, these scattered showers starting to pop up with a few embedded supercells with these, as well as that cold front passes through. And you can see out here we definitely have some severe thunderstorms, some embedded supercells with this convective squall line. And you can see that that could affect you guys up in Arkansas early to around midday tomorrow morning, around 11 or so in Central Daylight Time. And you will want to keep a lookout for that, because this could affect you guys with tornadoes, hail, definitely, and potential flash flooding. All something you want to keep a big outlook for tomorrow. And now as we move on to about 1 p.m. or so in Central Daylight Time tomorrow, you can see that we do have a convective squall line as this cold front pushes back behind these storms throughout the southeast. And this is where you see those very good supercells coming through, these very strong supercells. You can see the high resolution rapid refresh forecast model is showing that these already have hook echoes on them. And that is something you have to look out for. When the forecast models, the computer models, are showing that there is hook echoes and strong rotation in these storms, that is a sign that this could be a serious situation for those of you who live in the path of these storms. You can see that most of these storms do around the southeast have that hook echo, and this shows very strong rotation. It seems that most of the inflow is coming in from the Gulf of Mexico and pushing around through Alabama and into these storms on the backside. So these are going to be rotating counterclockwise, and this is definitely a tornado threat for you, all of you down in the southeast around Alabama and Mississippi. So this is something that you are going to want to keep a lookout for. I can't stress that enough. Tomorrow is going to be serious for those of you in northern Alabama, central Alabama, northern Mississippi, central Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, and parts of western Georgia. This is all something you're going to want to keep a lookout for. And even those of you who live in the eastern United States, you are going to want to keep a lookout for these as well, because as that cold front progresses through the area, you still could keep these storms strong and effective throughout those parts where you live. So you are going to want to keep a lookout for that Friday morning through Friday afternoon as this cold front progresses through your area. And this could definitely cause some tornado warnings for you guys. Nothing major, of course. The major severe storms are going to be staying throughout areas in this circle that I'm drawing right now. Definitely potential westward or eastward, so you are going to want to keep a lookout for that, but mainly just sticking in this circle. So make sure that you guys are ready. If you live in that circle, make sure you guys are ready for tomorrow. All right, and this is about 3 p.m. or so in the afternoon for Central Daylight Time, and as you can see, we definitely have a very strong convective line of storms. You can still see those embedded supercells ready to bring some and drop some tornadoes for you guys. So if you live in Mississippi, northern Alabama, or anywhere near Tennessee, even Memphis, Tennessee, you guys are going to have to keep a lookout as those storms pass through early morning hours through about midday. That is where you're going to want to keep a lookout for. And even areas in eastern Tennessee, you are going to want to keep a lookout there too, as well as western Georgia. That is somewhere we're going to want to keep a lookout for these storms as they come through, ramping up very strong as this cold front passes through. This is something you're going to want to keep a lookout for, even if you live outside of that moderate risk, that enhanced risk. Even if you live in the slight risk, you're still going to want to keep a lookout for these storms, because they could still be strong as they pass through your local area. All right, and here we go with our about moving to later afternoon into our early evening hours for the Central Daylight Time area. You can see that we definitely do still, the cold front is still holding on to these storms. It is really pushing these storms eastward, still strong. Our Hokokos are starting to fade a little bit, so the threat for tornadoes will fade as the afternoon moves into evening hours, with that sunlight starting to fade. So these storms will start to ramp down probably around 6 or 7 p.m. or so for those of you in Alabama and Georgia. So anybody who lives pretty much eastward of central Georgia, you really can't expect any tornadic activity as of now. But the high resolution rapid refresh is a very reliable forecast model showing high resolution to what could happen tomorrow. And this is definitely showing that this squall line will still be very a major threat for you guys tomorrow, even into the evening hours. So that is still something you're going to want to keep a lookout into the evening hours for tomorrow if you live in the southeast. All right, and as we move on to about 04Z, which is about 11 p.m. or so in around Central Daylight Time, and this is something that you can see where around 11 p.m. or so, you still are going to have those severe thunderstorms. These will likely still be severe as that convective available potential energy is still available for these storms to feast off of. And you can see that the rotation starts to die down for sure. Maybe a couple embedded supercells still left over from that Mardi Gras, so to speak, of the severe weather. And you can see that everybody's starting to calm down. These cells are starting to calm down as this cold front kind of weakens, maybe starts, the cold air kind of loses its strength, pushing down onto this convective line. And you can see that these supercells are not as strong as the bulk shear clears out of the area. So nothing really for you guys to look out for if you live east of central Georgia. So nothing for you guys to really look out for here just yet, but still potential for you guys to see a couple tornado warnings. So something you guys, even in South Carolina, are going to want to keep an eye on. Make sure to follow up with your National Weather Service, your local National Weather Service news, and all of the other weather sources that you get your weather information from. And this is the 06Z final, I think this is our final slide that we have with this reflectivity, and you can see that our high resolution rapid refresh takes these storms, kind of calms them down throughout the afternoon, or sorry, the early morning hours of Friday. This is you can see that we just have severe thunderstorm cells. These could potentially be severe. Nothing tornado warned, it doesn't seem like. These start to calm down. Nothing really severe potential. Maybe a couple severe thunderstorm warnings early morning hours that you guys might get. Nothing you really need to look out for unless you receive a tornado warning. which I would advise you to take shelter if you do receive any tornado warning, no matter if you see the tornado or not, especially with those trees around in the southeast. So definitely something you guys are going to keep a lookout for, even if you live in, let's say, North Carolina. Definitely something you guys could see anywhere in this circle. You could see some potential for some severe weather tomorrow morning, or early Friday morning, and something that you'll want to keep an eye on. All right, now just for the courtesy of all of you who live near the Weather at a Glance location up in Pennsylvania or in the Northeast, I am trying to give you a nice loop of this reflectivity provided by the high resolution rapid refresh. And you can see that our low pressure system is our last low pressure system that brought snowfall, or is currently bringing snowfall to Wisconsin. That is going to be moving out into parts of Canada, and you can see our new low pressure system, about a 1,000 millibar low pressure system, is making its way up into Michigan, and you can see that around later afternoon to evening parts of tomorrow, you could see those squall line showers throughout Pennsylvania, Ohio. Ohio definitely has potential to see severe weather and tornadoes, so I would definitely keep a lookout. Even in the parts of just west of Pittsburgh, you can see some tornadic activity out there too. Not something I'd be concerned about at all, but just potential for rotation. I definitely keep an eye on those storms as they might be rotating, but nothing that you need to keep an eye on for tornadoes at all at this time. As you can see throughout Kentucky and portions of Illinois, we definitely do have some severe storms. You guys will and can expect some severe storms throughout tomorrow evening and throughout Friday morning. So something you guys are going to keep a lookout for. Pennsylvania still has some leftover potential, and up into parts of New York, where you could see those thunderstorms Friday and even into parts of Saturday. So you will want to keep a lookout for that if you like thunderstorms, or just if you live in flood-prone areas. There's going to be a lot of precipitation coming through the area. And I should mention that Saturday does not look that to have that much potential for thunderstorm activity. Maybe some scattered thunderstorms possible in the early mornings, maybe afternoons. Sunday is really where your rain's going to come back into town, and Friday definitely has potential to see thunderstorms, as well as Thursday. Thursday evening is really where you're going to see those thunderstorms into Friday morning, early Friday morning, around 12 in the morning or so. In Indiana, yours is Thursday afternoon in parts of Illinois. So hate to repeat myself, just trying to make sure to get this out to you guys who live up in the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast, so that you know what's coming as well. All right, now we are going to be looking at our 19Z outlook, which is about midday for Central Daylight Time. And you can see this is our highest point of convective available potential energy values down in the southeast as we went through our model runs from Pivotal Weather. And you can see that we do have a widespread area of 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram up into parts of Kentucky. And you can see that also a very widespread area of 2,000 to about 3,000, even up into the 3,500 range along this little line right here. I definitely saw some potential for 4,000 joules per kilogram with the high resolution rapid refresh as we move into our soundings. And this is providing a grandiose, big amount of convective available potential energy for these storms to feast off of. This is a very strange situation. You definitely can see 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram down in the southeast, but 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram is a very rare occasion. And we are not expecting to see 5,000 joules per kilogram of convective available potential energy tomorrow, but we could definitely see up to 4,000 joules per kilogram tomorrow as we move into our midday hours, into the evening hours, as those storms are still working on eating up all that energy. All right, here's our live radar loop of the convective available potential energy. And you can see as that cape moves through with our cold front, progressing cold front, you can see that we have widespread 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. And as that cape progresses up into the northeast, we definitely will see up to 1,000 joules per kilogram throughout the Ohio Valley and possible parts of western Pennsylvania. So thunderstorms, possibly even some severe thunderstorms. And look at that, even up into Michigan, you can see those 1,000 joules per kilogram. Anywhere northward along the Great Lakes, you can definitely see some potential. And anywhere around Lake Erie, you can definitely see some potential for some severe weather tomorrow. And even parts of, I'd say anywhere from Cumberland, Maryland to Pittsburgh, you could definitely see some severe weather tomorrow a possibility, but definitely some thunderstorms for tomorrow as long as these temperatures progress, and which we will get into very shortly about our temperatures and how you can have way well above average, unseasonably warm temperatures. So something you're going to probably enjoy throughout tomorrow, Thursday, as the skies stay blue before those thunderstorms move in and potentially severe weather. All right, now this is something new and scientific for the channel. I don't really show the lapse rates that often because people tend not to understand them, and it takes up a good portion of your guys' valuable time, which I don't like to do. But I feel like this is something that you should understand just for the general understanding of how severe weather forms as well. So these are called lapse rates, and this basically means the temperature difference between about 1 kilometer in the atmosphere, so about a mile, maybe 5,000 or so feet up in the atmosphere, generally about what your small aircraft fly at. And you can see that areas down in Louisiana can see up to 9 degrees Celsius, or about, let's say, 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit in change up with the atmosphere. And this definitely has some severe cooling for those storms, which could definitely cause severe weather throughout portions of northern Texas or northeastern Texas, northwestern Louisiana, and southeastern Arkansas, as well as a widespread area of 7 or 8 to 8.5 degrees Celsius in change. So something you guys are going to want to keep a lookout for, and especially look up into portions of the Northeast and the Ohio Valley. You can see those 8 to 8.5 degrees Celsius, which is about 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit in change with 1 kilometer in the atmosphere throughout tomorrow. So something you guys are going to want to keep a lookout for generally on your news stations if they cover it as well, because you can see that we have that potential for severe weather tomorrow through even parts of Illinois. We have those widespread areas of these lapse rates that are very intense, and you will have to keep a lookout for these severe storms. They might become severe tomorrow, and definitely some potential throughout portions of West Virginia and Kentucky through southern Ohio for tornadoes tomorrow, with that rotation being present as that trough moves through around the low pressure system. All right, and now here is the big, I would call this the icing of the severe weather event. This is something that really plays a big point. This is what tops it all off, the dew points. The dew points, I'm sure you've heard of the dew points before, and the higher the dew points basically means that what temperature really dew will form at. So you really want to keep a lookout for whenever you get into anything above 60 degrees. This is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And 60 degrees Fahrenheit in those dew points usually means severe weather because of that increase in convective available potential energy. So down through the southeast, you can see that we have 60s to 70s in our dew points. You can see around the Gulf of Mexico, you definitely have those 70s. That's because people always refer to as the Gulf of Mexico as very warm and moist. That's because of that warm, moist air that comes from there, and you can see that the dew points are very high. So when those dew points and moisture surge up into the United States, that's what fuels those storms. And you can see it throughout a very wide portion of the Mid-Atlantic. We have 60 degrees Fahrenheit in those dew points, and even throughout the Northeast, you have those mid 50s to lower 60s even possible throughout tomorrow. So definitely thunderstorms. Actually, if you can see, we just hit 60 degrees Fahrenheit in Pittsburgh and State College. You can see those areas as well as Ohio, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio. And you can see that we definitely have those potential for some severe weather tomorrow with those 60-degree dew points. It's going to be very humid tomorrow, so you're going to want to monitor that humidity. Hey, if you get a chance, go ahead and comment down in the chat or message me on the Facebook page and tell me what you guys are experiencing. And take a look at that. Look, we have those 70 degrees Fahrenheit dew points throughout Alabama. But yes, if you want to message me and tell me how humid it is in your relative location, sure, that would be awesome. You can share with the chat what you're experiencing, and I bet you'll realize that tomorrow is going to feel like a giant wet blanket all over the top of your neighborhood if you live in any of these regions. From, let's draw the circle, about even up into Maine. So generally throughout this area, if you live in this area, you are going to be experiencing that wet blanket effect, which is going to feel like somebody's laid something over top of you and everywhere around you, and it's going to feel like you have a very heavy, sopping wet blanket on top of you. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, but it's very good for feeling these storms. All right, now as we move into our 2-meter AGL temperature outlook in degrees Fahrenheit, you can see that we have widespread areas of 70 degree Fahrenheit temperatures throughout tomorrow. Look into Pittsburgh, you have 70 degrees Fahrenheit, likely even higher, and into Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, 70-degree weather throughout tomorrow afternoon, and even into parts of maybe Philadelphia, you'll have 70-degree weather, and throughout. Let's see. We have plenty of 70-degree weather widespread anywhere from basically up here where I'm drawing the circle down to Louisiana and throughout Texas. Now, western Texas, southwestern Texas is not going to have a potential for severe weather tomorrow. It does not seem, with those lack of dew points really being available tomorrow and that convective available potential energy. So there's nothing to worry about in western Texas. But anywhere in this circle, you are going to want to keep a lookout for severe weathers. This circle right here is really defining where you're going to see that severe weather. And in the parts of Florida tomorrow, you could see some severe weather too. So might want to monitor that as well. And now we are going to get into our significant tornado parameter. And I know a lot of you meteorologists out there really hate when people use this. Maybe not as much as hate, but it feels I've gotten a lot of negative feedback when I use this, but I see that other people are beginning to use it again, and I am going to utilize it. It basically takes all the computer information, all of the factors of severe weather and tornadoes, and it puts it all into one to kind of give you a tornado factor outlook. And you can see that we have those. I take this as basically a number of intensity. So, you go from anywhere from 0 to about 8 or around 9. So we get into those 4.5s and 5s and up, even up into the 6s. You can see those different outlooks for tornadoes tomorrow. A very high region right here. Let's grab um, our black color, and we can see that we'll circle that, and right in this region, you have major potential for tornadoes tomorrow, as well as, did you see up in Kentucky as well? We do have portions of Kentucky that are likely going to experience some tornadic potential tomorrow as well. So I'll draw the circle of potential for tornadoes, and basically anywhere around here. You can even see up in the portions of Pennsylvania, I'll draw the circle, and you can see that anywhere in this region right here, anywhere in this circle, you can see that you have potential for tornadoes tomorrow, something that you're going to want to keep a lookout for. I actually might slim down this western region, but you can see that anywhere basically in this region around here, you have potential for tornadoes tomorrow. You're going to want to keep a lookout for that. Definitely check up with your National Weather Service. They always give wonderful feedback. You can even go message them on social media, and they'll likely give you a forecast. I will personally give you a forecast as well if you don't mind trusting me, and I will give you a forecast for free of charge. And I would love to do that, help you out. If you have any questions, I will always be there for you to ask. Definitely come and ask. And make sure to stay tuned with your local news stations, with the official meteorologists, and make sure that you are weather prepared for tomorrow. If you live in anywhere that I drew the circle, I'll do it once again to show you. If you live anywhere in this region right here, make sure you are staying in tune with your local authorities, weather meteorologists, and you're going to want to take a look and stay tuned with those people tomorrow so that you know what's going on. All right, and this is where it gets even more scientific. If you have already seen all the information that you have, of course, click off. This is, I'm just doing this for the weather enthusiast or anybody who is interested. Of course, right here, this giant gap right here, the wider the gap, the more convective available potential energy that you have. And you can see that we have this giant gap right here. And this sounding I measured on Pivotal Weather in the parts of Mississippi and Alabama, right in the heart of that moderate risk tomorrow for severe weather and tornadoes. And you can see that we have this really thick cape level right here, and even up to here, you can see that we do have potential for up to 3,689 joules per kilogram of convective available potential energy. And as we take a look down here to our possible hazard type, and it is definitely giving widespread areas of PDS tornado warnings, which is a potentially dangerous situation tornado warning. So this could be your situation tomorrow if you live in the Mississippi area. So you are going to want to keep a lookout for that tomorrow. Definitely a dangerous situation, potentially dangerous. So you are going to want to keep a lookout for that potential tomorrow. And now we're going to take a look at our hodograph, which our hodograph shows the rotation with wind speeds with height. And basically for tornadoes, you want the more curved hodograph. And you can see that we have a fairly curved hodograph here. So this is definitely showing some signs for tornadoes tomorrow, and especially rotation supercell. So this is something you're going to want to keep a lookout for tomorrow as we progress throughout the day. Make sure that you are keeping a lookout at the clouds. Make sure that if you see anything in an ample shape and that is coming towards you, make sure to go and get inside your house as well, because lightning will be I can't stress this enough. Lightning will be a very big potential tomorrow, a very dangerous situation for tomorrow with these high cape levels. Lightning will be very frequent and sporadic. You will want to make sure that you are not outside at all when this is happening. Honestly, hail will be the least of your worries if you are outside. You will want to make sure that you are indoors with this convective available potential energy this high. You are going to want to make sure that you are inside so you do not have any lightning fatalities. I hope to see that there are no fatalities tomorrow or Friday. I hope that everybody follows the rules of their National Weather Service. No matter how big or bold you think you are, you should listen to the National Weather Service. They are there to protect you and give you advice so that you can understand what you need to do. And I hope that you take their suggestions. If they tell you to take shelter, hopefully you take shelter. That's obviously your decision, but I highly suggest you listen to their every word. All right, and the final outlooks that we are going to be going through are our Storm Prediction Center outlooks. And you can see that yesterday we had that enhanced risk throughout portions of the circle, and now we have a moderate risk that has been issued. And honestly, tomorrow we could, I doubt that it might happen, but we could see a potential for high risk tomorrow, just like we had last time. It might look something a little like this, small, not that big, but within the center of these storms, the storm risk, you could see that potential for high risk tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned. You could see a potential for a high risk tomorrow if you live in, let's say, northeastern Mississippi and northwestern Alabama. You could see a potential for a high risk event tomorrow. So please stay tuned. To your news stations. I will not be making a forecast tomorrow. I will be live streaming tomorrow. So please stay tuned to your news stations and your National Weather Service. Get as much information as you can. Utilize it as much as you can. They are there at your disposal to help you. So make sure that you are paying attention. And as you can see, we have that marginal risk stretching up into parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and this is where your first risk of severe weather occurs. This light green region is the thunderstorm outlook. So this basically tells you if you will be having thunderstorms or not. If you live in this region, you likely will be having thunderstorms. But anywhere in this marginal risk, this is where you start to gain that interest in severe weather, that you could have some potential for some severe weather. And as we move into those slight risk areas, this is where you get that even higher risk of severe weather. So definitely something you're going to want to keep a lookout for if you live in this slight risk region here. And now we're moving on to our tornado outlook by the National Weather Service. And you can see that we do have a hatched 15% chance of tornadoes. And some of you I know will be curious as to why 15% risk is so significant. This risk only goes up to 60%. So it's on a 60% scale. So this is almost halfway up the scale. And you can see that this is a significant event. When you get into these red 50% chances, you really start to gamble with safety. And this is something you are going to usually I've seen EF3 to possibly even EF4 tornadoes before when I was live streaming, and I've seen it with this yellow 10% risk. So 50. That does not mean you guys are going to be seeing significant tornadoes tomorrow, like EF4, EF5 tornadoes, but you definitely could see potentials for many tornadoes, small to moderate, tomorrow throughout this region if you live in the yellow or the red 15% chance. And this asterisk means a significant chance for that region type. So let's say if you were to live in the 10% yellow region, that means you have a significant chance for that to happen. And as we move into these brown regions still indicate, I've seen tornadoes, fairly moderate tornadoes come from these brown regions. Again, that does not mean I'm not trying to give you guys fear or anything of that sort. I just want to make sure that you guys are conscious that tornadoes can still happen in these lighter regions. And as we move into our green regions, I've still even seen a couple tornadoes come about from these light rain regions of tornadoes, and this goes into portions of Pennsylvania too, in the southwestern Pennsylvania. So make sure that you are keeping an eye on that tomorrow. And now we are taking a look at our wind probability by the National Weather Service. And you can see we have that brown outlook here for up into parts of Pennsylvania as well, which I was predicting yesterday to really bring some severe weather for parts of Pennsylvania and areas around there. Now, let me tell you that wind will be a risk throughout higher portions of here as well, throughout near all of the lakes, really. It's going to be as this low pressure system passes through and that trough really cranks around the low pressure system. It is going to be bringing high wind speeds throughout portions of this area right here in that circle. So definitely something you guys are going to want to be looking out for. Definitely some risk for some high winds tomorrow, as well as in this 30% chance right here, this hatch 30% chance, that you could have up to 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts tomorrow, so that does not mean you will have tornado damage. That means that you could even potentially have wind damage from these storms without any tornado down at the moment. So something that you still want to keep a lookout for, not just tornadoes, definitely a big event tomorrow with widespread different variables that could affect you. And finally, we're taking a look at our hail probability outlook. And as you can see, for all you folks who live up in the Northeast, hail is not your worry at the moment. Those lapse rates are not as intense for you guys to get hail up here. You could maybe see some little pebbles here and there, but nothing you're going to want to look out for. In this 5% risk region, you can start to see those definite chances for a pebble hail, about pea-sized, or nothing really higher than pea-sized, really. This is mainly what you're looking at here. And then when we get into this yellow risk, our 50% risk for hail, this is where you start to see a very good chance for those pea-sized hail sizes, and you can see even up to dime-sized hail, maybe quarter-sized hail as well. Any size really, just a good chance for that to happen. And in our hatched 30% risk, this is where you may see some of those dollar-sized hailstones, as well as maybe an occasional golf ball-sized hailstone as these updrafts really skyrocket and develop with this bulk shear that's coming through the area. So something you are going to want to look out for with the hail tomorrow. It looks like we are going to have a very good probability for hail with that hatched 30% risk. That's a significant chance for that 30% risk. So make sure you are ready for that tomorrow. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you all stay safe tomorrow. That is it for today's video, and a big thanks to today's sources. We have Pivotal Weather, where all of the forecast models that you saw in this video and every other video come from, and the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center page, which we just went over, and they put together those wonderful outlooks that help to give us a very good idea of what's going to be happening, especially to the public. News stations utilize them so much because it is so handy from the professionals how they create those forecasts, and they help you guys have a better understanding. And I would ask that you consider subscribing to the Weather at a Glance channel for more forecasts free of charge. And I would ask that you consider following the Weather at a Glance official Facebook page for more inside information and complimentary personal forecasts when you message me on my Weather at a Glance Facebook page. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.